What if the respect you've been chasing your whole life was never out there, but already within you? Why do some people command authority effortlessly, while others struggle to be taken seriously no matter how hard they try? And what if the secret to never looking weak again lies in ancient wisdom that still shapes true strength today? How to command respect. In a world saturated with noise, where social media feeds bombard us with curated images of perfection, strength, and success, it's easy to mistake outward appearances for true power. We often confuse loudness for authority, aggression for confidence, and external validation for respect. But beneath these illusions lies a deeper truth. Real respect cannot be demanded or faked. It must be earned through a consistent demonstration of inner strength and character. For many, the fear of appearing weak triggers defensive behaviors, either trying to overpower others or shrinking into silence. Both extremes stem from the same root, a fragile sense of self that hasn't yet discovered its own true power. The good news, that power lies within you, waiting to be claimed through ancient wisdom that still holds the key to commanding respect today. In this video, we'll explore the Stoic principles that transform weakness into strength, not through force or ego, but through the cultivation of virtue, resilience, responsibility, and self-mastery. These are not simple platitudes, but hard-won truths tested by millennia of philosophers and proven by those who have walked the difficult path. If you're ready to stop looking weak, stop being overlooked, and start commanding the respect you deserve, this is your moment. Stay with me and let's unlock the strength inside you that no one can take away. 1. The Stoic foundation of respect. Virtue is a true measure of strength. Respect that lasts is not a product of circumstance or image. It is the natural consequence of a life grounded in virtue. This was the fundamental teaching of Stoicism, that external things like wealth, fame, or power are indifferent. What truly matters is the cultivation of internal excellence, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When I first encountered this idea, it felt abstract, an ideal disconnected from the messy realities of modern life. I was focused on climbing social and professional ladders, trying to be seen, heard, and admired. Yet, paradoxically, I felt more insecure and unnoticed than ever. Then an experience changed my perspective. In a high-pressure work environment, I faced relentless criticism. Instead of retaliating or trying to prove my worth externally, I chose to respond with calm integrity. I acknowledged my mistakes openly and sought to improve without defensiveness. Over time, I noticed a shift. Colleagues who had doubted me began seeking my counsel. It was not because I was the loudest or the most aggressive, but because I embodied a steady commitment to truth and growth. Marcus Aurelius writes, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the cornerstone of respect. Being the person worthy of it, not demanding it. Virtue requires relentless self-awareness and honesty. It asks us to strip away masks and confront our flaws, not for punishment, but for improvement. When you align your actions with your deepest values, respect becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. Moreover, living virtuously creates a magnetic force. People intuitively sense when someone acts from principle rather than impulse or vanity. Such presence commands attention and admiration without effort, but the path is not easy. The world will often reward superficial success over quiet integrity. You may be misunderstood, criticized, or sidelined. Yet, the Stoics remind us that external opinions are outside our control and ultimately meaningless compared to our own judgment of character. Are you willing to be the rock that stands firm while the waves crash around you? To prioritize inner excellence over fleeting approval? When you do, respect flows naturally because you are no longer seeking validation. You are embodying strength. 2. Mental mastery and emotional resilience. The antidote to weakness. True power lies in mastery over the self, not in controlling others or circumstances. The Stoics recognize that emotional reactivity is a root of perceived weakness. When we let anger, fear, or frustration dictate our actions, we surrender our authority and appear vulnerable. I want to share a personal story about the power of emotional resilience. Early in my career, a mentor publicly criticized a project I poured my heart into. My first instinct was rage and humiliation, a sharp edge of defensiveness ready to slice back. But I paused, took a breath, and reminded myself of Epictetus' teaching. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Choosing to respond with calmness and clarity was difficult. I listened carefully, separated the emotional sting from the constructive feedback, and thanked him for his honesty. This moment of self-control transformed the dynamic. Instead of conflict, respect deepened, and I gained a valuable ally. Building this kind of resilience requires daily discipline. It's not about suppressing emotions, but cultivating the space between stimulus and response, the pause where choice lives. This pause empowers assertiveness grounded in reason rather than reactive emotion. Setting boundaries is a critical part of this mental mastery. When you clearly define what you will and won't accept, you protect your energy and signal self-respect. This is often misunderstood as rigidity, but true boundaries come from compassion for yourself and others. Assertiveness from this place is magnetic. It commands respect because it reflects an unshakable center, a person who cannot be easily shaken or manipulated. When you master your mind, others perceive you as a fortress of strength. You become someone whose presence demands attention not through force but through calm confidence. 3. Owning your authority and inspiring respect through transformation. Respect also emerges from owning your life, embracing responsibility, and turning obstacles into opportunities. The Stoics coined the term amati, or love of fate, urging us to not just accept but love all that happens, using it to forge resilience. For a long time, I hid from this truth. I blamed circumstances and people for setbacks, feeling powerless and frustrated. Then, through persistent reflection and practice, I began embracing my experiences, the failures, pain, and setbacks as essential teachers. This shift was transformational. No longer a victim, I became the author of my story. I focused on what I could control, my thoughts, decisions, and actions. I stopped waiting for external validation and started building self-respect from within. One vivid memory that illustrates this change was a particularly brutal period in my life when I lost a close relationship and faced a major career setback simultaneously. At first, I was overwhelmed with despair, but slowly I began reframing these hardships, asking, what lessons are here for me? How can this strengthen rather than defeat me? I turned to Stoic meditations daily, repeating Seneca's words, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Each morning, I recommitted to facing my challenges head-on without complaint or avoidance. Instead of being crushed by circumstances, I learned to wield them as tools for growth. This ownership of life's ups and downs changed how others saw me. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving despite adversity. This kind of resilience commands respect because it demonstrates a profound mastery over self and situation. Stoicism teaches that obstacles are not hindrances, but the path itself. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you live this truth, you inspire respect by showing unwavering commitment to growth and authenticity. Owning your authority means refusing to be defined by victimhood or weakness. It means standing firm in the face of uncertainty and walking forward with courage. When you do this consistently, respect becomes inevitable because you represent something rare, a person who transforms hardship into strength and leads by example. 4. The power of consistency and self-respect, earning long-term authority. Respect is not a momentary achievement. It is earned over a lifetime through consistent self-respect and discipline. I faced a period of repeated failures, personal loss, financial strain, and professional setbacks. the temptation to give up was immense. But I realized that every day I showed up for myself with integrity, discipline, and reflection. I rebuilt my strength. I developed daily rituals, journaling, meditation, goal setting. These were not grand gestures, but quiet commitments to myself, small acts of honoring my values and vision. This consistency rewired my mindset, turning fragility into fortitude. There was a time when everything seemed to crumble at once. My finances were in turmoil, my health was declining, and the people I trusted let me down. The logical choice would have been to surrender to despair. Instead, I committed to showing up every day, even when it felt pointless, and following through on my self-care and goals. Over months, these small acts accumulated into a profound transformation. I regained control not by forcing change, but by patiently cultivating it from the inside out. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior, said the Stoics. This inner victory is the foundation of real authority. People respect those who show up reliably, who keep their word to themselves and others. This respect isn't gained through intimidation, but through undeniable authenticity and trustworthiness. Consistency also builds credibility. When your actions match your words every day, you become a living testament to your principles. Others trust and respect you because you are predictable in the best sense. You can be counted on to act with integrity and courage. Remember, commanding respect is not about grand gestures or momentary displays. It is about the quiet, relentless commitment to be your best self every day. When you commit to this lifelong practice, weakness fades. You command respect effortlessly because you embody what you preach.